pay close heed to my every
So 400, I guess. I'm Matt Durson.
I'm John Hunt.
Yes.
Clay Inferno.
Welcome. We're going to do something fun and different today while we're all stuck in the house.
Many of you and to myself.
Thanks to
you. We're going to do a little, we're going to watch a watch-a-thon, they call these, right? Or watch along. I'm an idiot. Watch along. A little watch along. Right? Watch along style for the 2002 Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, and many other people who we'll get to. But mostly known as the Tobey Maguire or the Sam Raimi. The Sam Raimi trilogy, I guess, as it is known, right?
Yeah.
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's going back a ways now, but I think with all the new,
I was watching some YouTube videos of people talking about this movie, and they were like, well, this is before they had the internet to do all this, behind the scenes stuff, and a lot of you guys that were watching this weren't even alive when this movie came. I was like, what?
Well, you said that video. You see a YouTube video. You said this guy's got some cool opinions, and I watched some of it. And that guy was like only 20.
Yeah.
So he was 2 when this movie came out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We have cool opinions.
Ish. Well, depending on when that video was made.
I think it was like a year or 2 ago.
So
he's still a young man.
So this is like his Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like in a way.
Younger
we were young when Star Wars.
Younger than Tobey Maguire was when he was Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire was almost 30, right, when he did this.
So was John when that movie.
So he did look a little. He looked a little old for a high school kid, but like I said, we'll get into it. But yeah, we're going back a ways. I was just a young lad. But I was with the previous lady that didn't work out all that well, but I thought it was, you think it's going to work out, but I don't remember what else I was doing. I guess I was working.
2000.
It sounded like you just took a drink.
What?
And you were like Durson was like,
no, I didn't.
He's just
it sounded like you just disappeared for 10 seconds.
Oh, I might have. But it sounded like you grabbed the bottle off the shelf and like, there was another lady. But that was a long time ago. Big old gulp.
I did have a beer in my hand, but I hadn't opened it yet.
I just took a drink.
But I was going to do a dramatic, like, in fact,
I'll do it for you.
There.
Oh, I tried.
Nice.
2002. There's a lot, I got married that year. I lived on Cape Cod. I went and saw this at the Hyannis Theater. And then I lost my key to get back in my house.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, I got back to the place at midnight, and I don't have a key to get in there.
Oh, that's
and it wasn't my place, so we didn't I was renting it, so I didn't have a spare hidden anywhere, so that was pretty terrible. But we went to the theater the day before to go buy tickets because we thought it's gonna be crazy and sold out, and it wasn't. But it was still it was a fun time. I was like really excited about this movie. This is, I think, the last movie up until the Godzilla movie that just came out that I was excited about.
And then when the 18 years you did.
Yeah. I bought like a shit ton of magazines about it and this and that. Back when magazines were still a thing, and all that, and I was like, I can't wait for that. And I saw it, I was like, it's all right. And then you sent me a text or an email or something going, that was the greatest superhero movie I ever saw. So I went back and saw it again that weekend just to see, and I liked it better the second time. But I still have issues with it, but I kind of love it anyway now. Yeah.
Well, we were all, I think we should also preface this, we were all big Sam Raimi fans, big Dead fans, and Army of Darkness, of course. Yeah. So that was like a big part of my enjoyment, I think. It's like Sam Raimi getting his big Hollywood break.
Yeah.
Really. I think you remember we had gone to see Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, Shoe Smart.
That's right. He signed his book.
He signed the book.
It looked like
Shoe.
It looked like it's a shoe. And he even talked about, like, as people asked him about Spider-Man, and he said he had the biggest part, the most important part in the whole movie is he gives him his name. And that was kind of a funny. Bruce Campbell is a funny dude.
Yeah, we've seen him a couple times now.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's a good,
I just listened to the
entertaining fella.
I just listened to the commentary with Sam Raimi, and he said that he wanted to torture him more, like give him something like really terrible to do, but he only just gave him this nice line.
Well, that was in all the Evil Dead movies and stuff. It's like he always like put Bruce Campbell through hell, but this one he put Tobey Maguire through some hell too. I think the scene in the wrestling. We'll get to it, I guess.
I won't start the movie.
You know. Well, let's hear what Clay. Clay, what were you up to anything fun in 2002?
You were the most popular man on the internet,
right? Not quite
the burgeoning internet.
But I still was kind of in the transition between like living like my just graduating college life and like a couple years into like a professional career doing like book publishing and stuff like that. And I just started working at the club then, I think. So it's like kind of right around when I started like working at the Middle East and like getting into the music business. So, but I remember being excited about this movie too. And just as I was excited to see like Batman when it came out, you know, I was like, oh, I finally get to see like a good Spider-Man, because I always played Spider-Man as a kid, and I would even watch the Channel 56 Spider-Man, like the TV show. and
oh yeah,
Spider-Man was on Spider-Man was on like the Electric Company. Like every time I saw Spider-Man on TV, I was so excited. So I didn't really watch the cartoon so much, but I loved live action Spider-Man. So when this came out, I was very excited.
Yeah, I think we were all of that. Well, I like the Spider-Man as Amazing Friends, but yeah, any Spider-Man I could get my hands on, Electric Company, or that TV show where he had the black eyes.
Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know his name at all.
Yeah. He was in The Sound of Music as one of the kids.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Those are tough. You can't like really rewatch those. It would be like,
yeah, they're real bad. I think I talked about it on the podcast once how I was watching an episode and had a very young Ted Danson in a minor role in one episode.
Wow. Well, hey, gotta work. You gotta find work.
Funny to meet Ted Danson and have him sign like a bootleg, one of those DVDs you get at the sketchy conventions. You remember when you were in this?
Oh, what's this? Yeah, oh my God, Ted Danson. I would totally do that. All right, let's start this fucker. Right?
Let's do it.
Are you ready? Everybody ready?
Yeah, we've got it set at if you're listening along, which you're not. We have it set at 1
second.
Yes.
So it's black. It's black. If you're watching this, well, wherever you're watching it,
Why don't you do your countdown just like you do when we record?
All right.
Then we'll do it.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes. We're gonna go 3, 2, 1, play, and then I'm gonna hit play, and then you go.
Then you're gonna hit Clay.
And then I'm gonna hit Clay.
Thanks.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. And the lovely Columbia Pictures lady here. I remember delivering scripts to their building.
That lady?
Many times. Yeah, they have that logo, and they have like it's not a statue, but
this lady.
This lady, she would say, "Hello, Matt."
She's an actual person. I saw something about this one. They're like, "Who is the Columbia logo lady?"
Oh, well,
how am I supposed to grab these scripts if my hand is up in the air like this?
Durson was she's really short and Durson's really tall, so there you go.
Just put them right on right on top of the thing there.
I'm
But,
like a second
here we-
behind you because my stupid remote control wouldn't work.
Oh, well, we see Marvel Enterprises and Laura Ziskin and some webs. And
See, now I see that right now. So I'm like 2 seconds behind you. You guys are living in the future.
I think we're all pretty
for
much
2
around the
seconds?
same.
Yeah.
Okay. This was a slow opener, though. I definitely did like this credit sequence. Well done.
We've never seen
Well
anything like it,
played.
really. Especially the beginnings of CGI. I mean, like Jurassic Park was amazing, but like this was another like, wow, look what they can do with computers now.
Well, that was John Dykstra in charge of effects, and Dykstra is the guy that essentially started ILM with Lucas. He created the Dykstra Flex camera that they use for motion control and stuff like that. And he was also a big part of Star Trek: The Motion Picture with his mentor Douglas Trumbull from 2001. Dykstra also worked on like a couple of those real shitty Batman movies.
Yeah.
I know all
His
this
name
stuff
has
off the
been
top of my
around a
head. I didn't even have to go look that shit up.
That's funny because Sam Raimi said that in the commentary I listened to too, but I was like, I think that's an Empire Strikes Back related guy, and I didn't exactly know who it was.
Yeah.
Well, him and Lucas had a falling out after the original Star Wars movie because Lucas thought it was taking him too long to do everything. He's like, I gotta come up with all this crap, you know? I'm inventing things for your damn movie.
No, there is his name right there. Visual effects design by John Dykstra. While we're looking at all this, I want to.
It'll come up in a second, John. Just wait.
Yeah, I got it. I just got there.
They had been working on this movie for like 25 years. This is not an exaggeration. There had been many scripts. One of them by James Cameron, which was kind of they ended up using a lot of James Cameron stuff.
Organic web shooters and stuff.
Yeah, that was definitely something they kept.
Characters.
Yeah.
Shooting from web shooters.
But they also they had like Electro and Sandman, I think, were the villains in his script, and they did away with that. So David Koepp gets the credit for screenplay, but there were a lot of, and even after him, Scott Rosenberg did another polish on it. Like it's pretty crazy how quickly. How many drafts went through, but that's what happens in Hollywood.
Yeah, you would know because you were delivering them.
I was delivering scripts.
Yeah.
It was my job, and to read them.
Yes.
Oh, and that web becomes a real web.
Whoa.
And this is people, I think, make fun of Tobey Maguire a little bit nowadays.
There are always those memes of him crying.
He was a really good Peter Parker, though.
I'm gonna say I think he's my favorite.
He's really
really
even
good.
Tom
Yeah,
Holland is a little too cool. He is. He's probably the best Peter Parker of all the Spider-Mans. Look at him.
Like being
he's
a
nerdy
scientist
looking.
is kind of cool now. So like, if Tom Holland and Peter Parker is like, yeah, I do a lot of stuff with computers. Girls are like, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to do it a little different. But like, even the bus driver was like laughing at how it's like a Homer Simpson kind of thing, like making fun of the kid who he's too late for the bus. Even the nerdy girl won't let him sit next to her.
It looks like that girl that you were talking about at the beginning, where you were like, I was with another lady.
Yeah, I guess it kind of did look like that. Glad it didn't work out. But speaking of girls, there's Kirsten Dunst.
You're right. I sped up my DVD to catch up with you guys.
Okay. Well, he just got tripped, and now the bus is driving.
That's where I am. I'm on.
You have the fine motion controls of a DVD remote. That's a nice little trick you're do there.
Okay. The unreliable DVD remote, because I never use the DVD player anymore.
So where does Kirsten Dunst rank in the Mary Jane? I'm
gonna say I like Kirsten Dunst, but I never thought of her as Mary Jane.
Yeah. She didn't have that, like, the attitude, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily her fault. I'm not saying.
No, it's not her fault. It's just the way her character.
They kind of just the Mary Jane is, it could be Gwen Stacy. It's just Peter's girlfriend. She's not like really that developed. They are neighbors. I kind of don't like that part, that they're neighbors and they've known each other their whole life.
They were kind of
weird. You got to compress like 40 years of stuff into one movie, so I get why they did it. Because you didn't learn Mary Jane was like abused and all this stuff until like the 80s.
Right. Oh, yeah, but she was just like in the comic book. She was
the party girl.
Well, yeah, but she was also Anna's niece.
Anna Watson.
Anna Watson's. So it was kind of just a way to introduce them. And he didn't want to meet her because like, she's probably ugly. And then he met her and she was hot and whatever.
Yeah, I guess you're sort of robbed of that reveal by having her be right in the beginning of this movie. But
Well, one of the funny things, or not funny, but not funny, haha, but cool, I guess, things about this movie is like when you talk about putting 40 years of, like character development into, like they really squeeze a lot into the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Now you know who Mary Jane is.
Yeah. Like by like minute 10, he's bitten by the spider.
Right. Like this.
But you've got everything you need to know in the first 5 minutes. You got Mary Jane's the girl he loves. Peter's a dork. Harry's like a spoiled brat, but he protects Peter. And Willem Dafoe is an unloving dad.
It's a creepy
to Harry.
Hey, every time you look at him, you're like, oh, geez, like I don't like looking at your dad. He creeps me out. Hey, his eyes are like all wide.
But he's like he definitely, you kind of get established that he likes Peter more than his own son.
He's
so,
like,
you get a lot in the
stupid like you dummy.
Exactly. So yeah.
So apparently in real life, the guy that plays Flash Thompson did not like. I guess the cast the cast and crew didn't really like Tobey Maguire very much. He was a bit of a prima donna or something. I've heard that he's had like a gambling problem or something, and he might be a little self-absorbed. I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently the story is that someone during that fight scene with him and Peter later, one of the crew members gave him $100 to punch Tobey Maguire for real, and he didn't do it, but was tempted. That's the story anyway.
That's pretty. That's
the rumor.
I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, Tobey Maguire, and I don't know. Who knows? Who cares what he's done for us lately? Nothing. You're right. Nothing.
Yeah, he do some voice in some like animated film last year? Well, because that was his like first role in like 7 years or something.
Really?
Yeah.
All the gambling didn't.
Hey, look at I don't know. Look at gambling.
Yeah. So you can't really hear it, but now Harry is using the wisdom that Peter just gave him about spiders that he just poo-pooed to sort of impress Mary Jane. Just kind of funny.
Douchey. I'm going to say that James Franco in these Spider-Man movies is awful.
Yeah.
Like his acting is terrible. I remember when I saw Spider-Man 2 and he's like, Spider, I'm ruined. Yeah, I was like, ugh.
I think it actually got worse as the movies went along. His acting maybe he just got more stoned as the three movies went along.
Most likely.
Because I remember they made jokes in what was that movie? This Is the End? Is that the one?
Oh, that movie.
That's a weird movie.
It's a really weird movie.
It's so good,
though. But like, they're like, I'm sure the fucking Green Goblin can afford some bacon. Like they're kind of making fun of James Franco's character.
He was also said something about G.I. Joe.
The only part I remember is like, so I was thinking of the G.I. Joe part in that.
Are you there, God? It's me, Jonah Hill.
Yeah, I know. I like that. From Moneyball.
Moneyball.
So, yeah.
Quick, let's do commentary for that other movie instead.
Yeah, let's switch over to this. Yeah. So this is a nice.
I'm watching that in another window.
Durst and I walked out of Interview with a Vampire starring Kirsten Dunst, young Kirsten Dunst.
It's true. We watched a good part of it.
Before
it's a great movie. I love that movie.
I don't know. This is I thought this was a sweet moment though, even though it ends sort of abruptly when she's just like, "Okay, bye." But
reminds me of me in high school.
I always thought it was a really
funny thing. You had a lot
thing
more luck in high school than Peter Parker probably did.
Yeah, maybe. But
ever since I first saw the movie, I always thought it was a weird thing that she's just, don't make me look ugly. Like that seems just like who wrote that? Don't make me look.
I don't know.
Racist.
One of 100 people could have written that because
Apparently,
One of
if
100 people.
if I recall correctly, there was actually a person that was in charge of painting that spider's butt so it was blue and red.
Is that a real spider or like a?
Yeah, I think parts of it are real spider.
Sam said, "I'm glad I prepared with the director commentary." Sam said they put that you are correct. They painted like a little shell and they put the shell on the spider so you didn't have to hurt the spider.
Oh, look at that! And now here comes bad Green Goblin costume.
You don't like this Green Goblin costume?
No.
I don't like the face.
I mean, I get it.
I wish it was like
why it is, but
yeah.
But if you've ever seen the test footage of the Goblin face, has anyone seen that where they did the footage of him where he actually looked like the Green Goblin, not like, as everyone calls it, the Power Ranger Goblin? It's pretty cool.
I can see, Power Ranger Goblin. I know they went through so did he have like the purple hat and the?
I can't remember. I just remember the face looked very much like what the Green Goblin should have looked like.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I don't know. You're like, in retrospect, yeah,
it's weak, you know.
You kind of,
because you can't see his mouth moving except if you look through like the mesh.
Yeah, I guess it kind of does look like more of like a Star Trek kind of loaf on his head. But yeah, we're spoiled now because everything is CGI. They would just like make him into a monster in CGI or something.
Yeah, they probably would. I mean, I think this is also sort of coming in the heat. Like Ultimate Spider-Man had come out a little. Yes. The comic book had come out a couple of years.
Like a year or two before.
And he was like, the Green Goblin was this giant demon thing. I liked him better. At least he was like a person. But
like the Ultimate Comics version.
Yeah, the Ultimate Comics version.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I think Cliff Robertson is the best Uncle Ben.
Oh, he was so
like
sweet.
I think his
nice.
acting is so good and so natural.
Like I get
in this that I like you can't help but fall in love with the guy.
Yeah, I also think this is the best. Even the computers need analysts nowadays.
This is like the most Aunt May. Yeah. But I mean, I think this is the most Aunt May.
Yes.
I'm not saying I don't like Marissa Tomei. She's funny. But as far as the character that I grew up with, this is the making wheat cakes and shit. This is the Aunt May that I wanted.
We wanted the Sam Raimi movie. We also wanted like kind of a good Marvel movie, you know, years before Iron Man. Like we wanted like it. Sam Raimi is kind of, I feel like he's like a Marvel director. Like he's like somebody that can work with the characters for Marvel.
The characters.
And he was a fan though. That was the thing. Like they went through a lot of. Sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, they went through a lot of directors, or they were thinking about a lot of directors, like David Fincher or M. Night Shyamalan and stuff like that. And I don't know if those guys were fans of Spider-Man growing up, but I know Sam Raimi definitely was, and that shows. So.
He had like Spider-Man painted on his walls or something as a kid in his bedroom.
That's pretty funny.
And then, we get Sam Raimi do like basically the horror kind of thing here.
Yeah, I feel like this shot or the sequence is very Sam Raimi, kind of like.
In the
costume Bruce Campbell
later too, like with the cars and the newspaper. That's cool, man. The flashing.
I feel that Spider-Man 2 has more Raimi-ism in it than this first Spider-Man does.
Yeah,
particularly that scene where the Dr. Octopus's arms come to life.
Yeah. I absolutely.
There's Matt painting.
But Willem Dafoe is, as much as we didn't like the costume, Willem Dafoe kills it. He's
great.
Yeah, he's amazing. He set the high bar.
Yeah, he's a little over the top, but.
But I think this is like Clay was saying, that's what we wanted in
Marvel
movies at the time. We didn't have Marvel. We only had X-Men.
Right.
Yeah, like Blade was the movie that was kind of the breakout, and that did well. and then
Right.
X-Men did better, and then this just like opened the floodgates for every other comic book movie.
This was actually at the time they made the first movie to make 100 million in its opening weekend.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine because now every movie makes that, and like that's like nothing. That's like a failure of a movie. You only make 100 million.
It wasn't it the first kind of I could be making things up, but kind of the first like comic book like free comic book day kind of thing. Like the first,
this came out. The Free Comic Book Day was in conjunction with this movie at the beginning.
Yeah, it like started it, right?
Saturday in May, the first weekend in May. I remember, there was like New England Comics had like a stand set up in the theater that I went to that like was selling Spider-Man trades in the lobby, which is once you wonder why they don't do that anymore. But whatever.
I remember walking into New England Comics back in the 80s, but we were talking about the long development period of this movie. It's got to be like 88 or so, 87, 88, 89, somewhere in there. And there was a poster on the wall there saying "Coming soon, Spider-Man the movie," and it had the picture of like that spandexy Spider-Man that they used a lot in publicity pictures back then.
Mm-hmm.
It had that like him like sort of swinging kind of, but you could tell he was just posed on the floor and they just chopped him out and put him in front of like a starry background. And I guess the guy that posed for all that stuff was the guy that was on the cover of that Spider-Man comic. Remember that one where someone takes the picture?
Yeah. The actual photo cover.
I think they were trying to get him to be Peter Parker in the movie when it was was it Canon Films or whatever, the guys that did all those horrible like Chuck Norris movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Superman 4.
The other Superman.
And this guy, right, is the guy that created the little spider slayers in the comics? Strom?
I think so. Yeah.
Simeon Smasher?
Something about this whole scene also reminds me just like of a certain look of some certain Hollywood movies that like that we love, like RoboCop or Jurassic Park, like that whole scene, like in that his lab.
I can see it,
yeah. It's just like I fucking love
before they started color grading everything like super blue too.
And it's like obviously on the Warner Brothers set or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like they built this like lab set.
Sony.
The Sony set. Yeah. They probably just let's get the set out of the lab set.
I heard them talking about how they shot some of it like on various lots. I think they like rent out the lots to people.
Well, yeah, the Sony lot is huge, but they also went to New York and they filmed a lot in New York. So look at how Buffy
Tobey
got.
Maguire had to go to Germany to read lines with Kirsten Dunst when
really
they were like before, but I don't know why they would have to go to Germany. Maybe she was shooting there or something.
Because they didn't have Skype.
They didn't have Zoom meetings.
Yeah, right. So, he's creeping on her a little bit.
There you go.
But he's like, "Look at how buff I am now. You ignore
but also,
me now?"
like,
now,
there's no way they would have set up their bedrooms like that. Or he would have probably would have. I bet if that was like my neighbor, I would have like some sort of creepy thing set up with binoculars underneath the like the in the blinds or something. If she was right there this entire time she was growing up, like changing and stuff. Hormones, man, hormones.
Maybe she changed her bedroom. Hormone man.
With a new character.
There's Sam Raimi's car. There's the famous car. Yeah, it's in every movie.
Even in The Quick and the Dead.
How did he get in The Quick and the Dead?
They're not. I'm just saying that.
Oh, okay.
It's something I didn't realize till I listened to the commentary either, was that Mary Jane's mom is in this, or like you can hear her screaming with the dad. But I always thought that the mom wasn't there.
I don't know. I mean, they can tweak the origin a little bit, I guess, right?
No, like even just in the movie, I never remembered seeing her in there or hearing her. I just thought it was she like lived with her dad and he was a real dick.
I guess her mom was just a passive,
You're just like her.
And there he is, catching the bus again. This is kind of. I know it was 2002, but I think even then they didn't just tape signs to the sides of buses. Did they?
This is very Queens though. I mean, you know, you can tell they obviously
Yeah,
shot it
and
there.
But the bus driver doesn't stop me like, hey, you throw the toward the thing off the damn thing. Seems like he would stop for that.
Yeah, he probably didn't know. He doesn't care. The sticky is always it's something. I mean, they did a good job in the Into the Spider-Verse too, but it's kind of like a funny thing. They don't really explain how it works in any Spider-Man movie.
They do in this where they show the little things on his fingertips come up.
But how does he get him to go back in? You know what I mean? It just
no.
How does he not just stick to everything?
Because his fingertips go back in.
How is his foot sticking on the wall?
Who cares? It's about the characters.
You're right. Who cares?
You gotta worry about characters.
Well, it's a funny thing in Into the Spider-Verse where he like literally ripped her hair out of her head because he can't figure out.
Yeah, and then there's the terrible, Amazing Spider-Man where he rips the girl's shirt off by accident.
Oh, don't even remind me. I can't believe at least we made it this far without talking about those terrible movies. Which I haven't. I still never saw the second one.
Oh, consider yourself lucky. It is so bad, you know.
I do like how
best Spider-Man.
Which one is that? What's the best one?
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
You have the best Spider-Man like effects or
the best Spider-Man costume.
Oh, costume. I see.
Yeah, it is good.
I don't know. I never saw it.
Looks like a Bagley drawing come to life.
Oh, I do like Bagley.
Yeah. And
I didn't mind Andrew Garfield at times. Like, you know what I mean? Like when he was Spider-Man, was actually kind of cool.
I've liked everyone that they've had as Spider-Man. You know, they're all fine.
Yeah,
fine. This is fine.
Fine.
You're the dog drinking the coffee and everything's burning around you. This is fine. Spider-Man's fine.
Everything's
So it's not just his fingertips because it's sticking to his palm.
That's because
because it's the web. It's the web, the magnet. So the organic web shoot. This is a new thing. So this was apparently. This was in the original script, but also Sam Raimi was cool with it because he thought it was weird that a high school kid could be that smart and actually make web shooters.
But it's not so weird that a high school kid gets bitten by a tiny little spider and then gets all these powers.
I think it's just not the suspension of disbelief can only go so far. But yeah, who cares? It's another. You're right.
At the time, I think I was upset about it, or like I had strong feelings about it at the time. But I think it's actually an elegant way of doing it. But you don't see that he has to like do like the Flash on the old Flash TV show from the 90s, where he has to eat like a bunch of pizza so he can keep making this like cum goo come out of his arm, you know?
Well, yeah, in the second one, right, when he decides he doesn't really want to be Spider-Man, it stops working, right? It just miraculously stops working.
It's like a psychosomatic thing.
Right. So, this is Flash, and he almost got paid $100 to really punch him. I do like that shot. That's like classic Sam Raimi. I'm just gonna watch his fist go in. But now, so this is something I see in the Andrew Garfield one. He liked the shit out of Flash. Like it was so bad. Like this is just kind of like I'm still getting used to this, and I don't know what's going on, but I like it. This is very.
And that's how do you say that guy's name? Mangiello, Joe Mangiello, who later became.
It is.
Yeah, is Deathstroke in the DC movie universe.
He was on True Blood, and shit, good for him. I didn't know. I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, I didn't
recognize
him either.
It's amazing how different someone can look in 18 years.
Well,
I remember when girls used to dress like that, though. Don't you? Don't you guys?
Those good old days.
Yeah, good old days.
31 flavors.
I guess that would really freak you out, though, right? If you could suddenly shoot webs out of your wrists.
The fact
I'd be like, oh, gross. Look at all this shit. Ew. I better go to the nurse's office.
Oh, there we go. There it is.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
Is that like similar to like the shot in The Fly when you kind of like zoom in on Goldblum's transformation?
Yeah, I think it is kind of similar to that. He's got the little hairs coming out of his back where he had been punctured by by a microchip or something.
I was gonna say earlier, like
yeah, we got some more classic Sam Raimi.
Yeah, this is all just camera trickery. They stuck a camera on the side, and he's just crawling on his stomach.
Yeah.
And then here comes the worst shot in the entire movie. First of all, he looks like Buzz Lightyear trying to jump between the buildings. But right here, this is so bad. Even back in 2002, I was like, that is not good.
I mean, yeah.
Just like the CG of him going over the thing, or?
Well, that was, yeah. I mean, what was that? This part's funny though. He can't figure out how to shoot the whip.
Jen makes reference to this still.
Who? Jen?
My wife that I married the year this movie came out.
Says all the superhero things in Shazam.
Yeah. And there it goes.
Yeah, there you go.
I just did it. Yeah, so
that's how you work in the classic Spidey pose.
Yeah.
That was show what happens on the other end of like some guys just getting like pelted with webs on the
I know, and it's like all sticky too, so it's like, oh, how am I gonna get this off? It's like getting gum in your hair. Like, do I need peanut butter? Do I have to freeze it?
And see, this is like pre everybody having cameras in their phones.
Right. They'd be like, what's that dude doing?
Yeah. There's just so much stuff you can't get away with anymore. That kind of
everybody would know who Spider-Man was now.
Wasn't that also the thing like where didn't Stan Lee say something like that where like people don't ever look up? They're walking.
Even though the kid in the Amazing Fantasy was like, look at the man crawling up the wall, and the mom was like, that's nice, dear.
Right. So the only kids look up.
Yeah.
This really hurts too because Cliff Robinson is just so great and sweet, and you're just like, I can't believe you let him down, you motherfucker. You let him down.
Tobey Maguire is a vegetarian, so
he's not going to eat the meatloaf.
Tofu.
Mary Jane. Tofu. Mary Jane parents fighting again, and
so where's
here he is throwing the meatloaf out. Right.
Where's the kitchen in relation to where he was just looking through the window? So it's like you wouldn't get that far away if you just went to the backyard.
But my apartment building is set up that the people right next door, like if I'm in the kitchen, I see my neighbor's kitchen. If I'm in my bedroom, I see my neighbor's bedroom. So it's like I think it's kind of like that.
So you have the queen set up.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that wouldn't she be a little like I'm like she must know that he can hear everything. Right? Yeah, who cares? But this is not supposed. I mean, this is another nice moment between them because he's, like.
This is the first time that he gets to really speak to her since they were like 6.
Right, like they never hung out.
Yeah, what is up with that?
I mean, I never spoke to Jen Kelly that much.
I was going to use that example too.
Like she lived 2 houses away from me. But we, outside of school, we never hung out.
Like, all right, see you at the club.
Whatever. So, but like, he's also talking to her like a normal person and not like this like flighty party girl or whatever. Nice.
Like Flash Thompson and those guys like her because she's hot.
Yeah,
and he likes her because she's just a sweet person.
Yeah, and she says,
he knows, really, if you think about it, he doesn't know her at all. She could be a total psycho, but
I mean, does he know that she asked the bus driver to stop for him? I mean, we know that, but does he know that?
He probably has a feeling. Probably has a sense, a spider sense.
A Peter tingle.
Peter
But
Tingle
she
is what
says
he had
she wants
before
to
he had the
act.
superpowers and he was looking in her bedroom.
Yeah, that's right. He got a Peter tingle then. Like hormones, like Clay says.
Yeah, hormone man.
So, but this is good character stuff. We're making fun. We're having a laugh. But this is good stuff. You know, yeah. Oops. I almost paused for a second.
I like the both of these guys.
Uh-oh.
And just in general, I think that like this is just a really like good superhero movie, like the Superman movie and the Batman movie and this Spider-Man movie. I'm not saying they're all the best, like top 3 movies, but these movies do a lot. This is I put it up in a different category than all the different Marvel movies. Just kind of like a classic, Coke classic.
Yes.
Yeah, this is like Coke classic. They did a lot with with very little.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have. But this is also kind of a funny. I think this is a fun callback because now he wants to make money, but he wants to do it to impress.
Oh, look, there's my old Camaro right there, which I had at the time that this movie came out.
Oh, nice. But in the original comic, he wanted to make money as Spider-Man, like not to impress Mary Jane because we didn't know who Mary Jane was, but this is a classic Sam Raimi sort of thing.
But
this montage is great.
Release of the Ford Thunderbird or whatever that came out in the early 2000s that died a quick death. It also was in whatever the last Pierce Brosnan Bond movie was, Die Another Day.
Yeah,
Halle Berry is driving it around.
Oh, nice little trivia.
Thank you. I just knew that off the top of my head again.
Between Bond and Spider-Man, this is like 2 of your favorite things.
Right in my wheelhouse.
Pretty good. I remember comic book colorist.
Yeah.
Is that what you do, John?
MTV. Yeah, sometimes. The MTV Movie Awards this year did a takeoff. Not this year. The year that this came out, of this scene, and Jack Black was playing Spider-Man, and he was like going through all the different like iterations of the suit, and it was like too gay, not gay enough, and then he settled on that one. It was just the right amount of gay, which is a joke. I don't think you could do it.
No, you couldn't do it.
You should.
No, probably should have done it then.
There's the joke with Bonesaw too. That I'm like, well, they wouldn't do that now.
Why? Because you can't cut people off with a bone?
Did your husband buy it for you? That's a nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
That is not a cool thing to say. I mean, if you legitimately were complimenting someone, maybe. Say, did your husband buy this for you?
Another story altogether.
Yeah. So we don't know what he was trying to say.
Right.
Your husband is very nice to you.
He has good taste. So this is a fun. See, like this is something that they do in some Marvel movies, but not every superhero movie gets that much. Like, Norman Osborn has some motivation to do what he does. It's not world domination. He actually does what he's afraid he's going to lose. He'll be ruined, as the thing says.
Back to formula.
Yes, exactly. It's I like some of them. It's good to give your villain a little pep.
And I also think that, like, Willem Dafoe plays a very, like, Stan Lee kind of character, Like, I feel like it's, like, pretty true to the
character.
The character.
He doesn't have that weird cornrow hair, though.
I know. That's such
I know. It would have been awesome if they both had it. And also, I think they just called Harry the Hobgoblin and given him a cooler suit in that other movie. But let's not talk about that. We're not talking about that.
Let's not talk about that other movie.
The less said about that one, the better.
Yeah. Here's more. Here's like the big. We never really got because it got tired, I guess. But like the big responsibility speech.
Yeah, this is the this is what made it famous, was this scene.
That's right.
We knew it. The three of us knew it from watching Spider-Man cartoons and reading the comics and stuff, but the public at large did not. And then you saw it everywhere for years. People would make that like advertising, and they're trying to sell, blenders, and they'd be like, with great blenders comes responsibility, or something.
Right. Don't chop your fruit up too finely. But yeah, and now it's kind of just like Uncle Ben. Even in the Tom Holland ones, Uncle Ben is kind of just like,
they didn't even mention Uncle Ben.
Yeah, they just said, well, when you don't act, it feels bad. But this is the one. This is the speech.
Yeah.
Thurston, you remember a couple years ago they had a Spider-Man comic that was like they brought Uncle Ben back, or like it was like his ghost or something, and he was talking to Peter. It was like the end of when Doc Ock was Superior Spider-Man.
Right. Superior Spider-Man, yeah.
I just this scene with Cliff Robertson is just so iconic. I thought of him when I was reading that comic. I was like, yeah, that's Uncle Ben right there. And every time I see him, I get choked up. So good.
Yeah, no, he's Uncle Ben. And here we go. Here's one of my
the guy from the Slim Jim commercials.
This is so great. I mean, this. I love the Macho Man when I was in 1986, and I started watching wrestling. Oh, and there's Bruce Campbell, of course. Yeah. But I just got to finish my Macho Man rant, because this is just he was by 2002 he was pretty much done. But in the 80s and 90s, he was the man, and I was so excited to see him. But him and Bruce Campbell in the same scene, man, I was.
Oh my God! And this woman up here is famous now too. That checks him in, isn't she?
That's right, she is. I forget her name now.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Shit, I just heard it the other day. But yeah, she is. She's like, good luck. I love it.
Did I say Elizabeth Banks being in this movie too? Before she was.
Oh yeah,
Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
Who did she play?
She's Betty Brant.
Oh yeah. I was
Ned
wait, she looks
Leeds'
familiar.
girl.
Oh my God, it's so classic. Wrestling right there.
So how did Macho Man die? Did he die of a heart attack in a car or something?
He was driving and he had a heart attack from years of drug use. Yeah. It wasn't a natural causes, although he was 50 something, I think, or maybe 60. He was probably in his 60s because he died about 9 years ago. So funny story about
I'm
the
just
Macho
hearing
Man.
about this
Quick
now. I'm really sorry.
You didn't know the Macho Man had died? No. Here's a funny side note. Before we get into, I'll go back to that actually, because this is the best. This is the scene Bruce Campbell was talking about.
I feel like I should share my Sam Raimi story on this.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
All right. Well, let me tell my Macho Man story real quick. We have Macho Man.
Come on, do it.
I was in the hospital in 2011, and I didn't know what was going on. It was very scary, and I'm sitting in my hospital bed, and on CNN or whatever on the news, they say, "Oh, by the way, that was Sam Raimi who just shoved him."
Yeah, Sam Raimi is usually the guy that is punching or kicking.
Yeah, or throwing stuff. I think he was probably throwing stuff at Tobey Maguire. And
usually off camera, it's always him.
But anyway, so I see on the news as I'm lying in my hospital bed that Macho Man Randy Savage has died. And I said, oh my God, that's so sad. I was a huge fan. And then my brother came in to visit me that day, and I said, Mark, I have terrible news. And I'm sitting there in the hospital bed. He's like, oh my God, what? I said, Macho Man Randy Savage died. He's like, oh, I thought you were going to tell me something horrible happened to you. And I was like, oh, but isn't that horrible news?
Well, it's horrible. It kind of did happen to me.
Yes, that's right. It did happen. Yeah.
That's a funny story. Not funny that you were in the hospital, though.
Not funny, huh? Well, it's funny.
Funny
now.
that died.
But yeah.
Funny now.
Not funny for much. But
I remember someone thinking when he says unlock the thing, I remember reading online, maybe it was Newsarama when they did a review of the movie, and in the comments back when they, people commented on that shit, someone was like, did he mention the thing? He said, I'm not the thing.
Well, No. So someone didn't read it right? Is that?
It did say unlock the thing on my subtitles.
Oh.
There's the cute outfit. Did your husband buy it? Quote, which is a nice compliment if you see someone's husband buys male or female buys them something nice. So you go, that you have a nice husband.
Hey,
some classic wrestling too, hitting him with the steel chair. That's good stuff.
Seems a little aggressive on a little guy like that, but
he's Bonesaw, you know. He doesn't.
So let's talk about
the Sam Raimi
story.
Right.
Real quick. Durst and I were traveling from Massachusetts to San Diego Comic-Con in 2009. Was that?
Yeah. Yep.
Those days are over.
And there's
no more comic book conventions.
No,
sorry.
And there's and you have to catch a connecting flight on one of those little whatever they're called Cessna planes or something from Los Angeles to San Diego. So we're
puddle
jumper, the terminal area, whatever. What?
Yeah, it's a puddle jumper. There were like 10 people on this plane.
Yeah. So we're sitting there, and I remember looking up. What? Stop interrupting! I can't hear. I'm an old man. So we're sitting there in the area, and I looked up at the thing, and you know how the readout shows names, and I saw Tappert, however you say,
right.
Rob Tappert, Sam Raimi's producing partner. I thought that was funny. I was like, oh, like Rob Tappert. And then Durson, who's got the diabetes.
Yeah, got the diabetes.
Has to go take his shot, you know. So he heads off to the bathroom, and then I get called up to the lady at the whatever that thing is, the counter, I guess.
The ticket
and she said,
counter.
And she says, "Would you be willing to trade your seats with this gentleman over here because it's next to an emergency exit on the plane, and you have to be 15 years old, and he has a son with him who's only 13, and blah 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 blah." And then I looked over to see who it was, and it was Sam Raimi and his son, Tappert,
and Theodore Raimi as well, right?
No, Lucy Lawless was
Lucy Lawless was there.
What?
Yeah, Lucy Lawless was
because
there.
Rob is married to her.
Yeah.
And I said, no, yeah, that's not a problem at all. And then Sam starts to engage in a conversation, and he's a very, very nice and warm and down to earth guy, because he's like, thank you, I really appreciate it. What's your name? And I said, my name's John. And I say, and you're Sam Raimi. I'm a big fan. And he said, oh, thank you. And he's like, what are you doing? You heading down? And I was like, yes, I'm heading to the Comic-Con and stuff. He's like, oh, you did business pleasure. And I was like, a little of both. And then we chatted about because I was doing a lot of coloring work back then, particularly for IDW. And since Sam had produced 30 Days of Night, which was published by IDW, we both knew some of the same people. We knew nice. Chris Ryall and Ted Adams, the publisher. And we had, I don't know, it was a good conversation, maybe about 5 minutes or so. And he was real cool, super cool.
That's
and then I went back and sat down and Durson. I was like,
yeah, I know. I came back and you were like, oh, I just met Sam Raimi. I said, what? Come on. Because John is a bullshitter, okay? In case nobody knows, John likes to make shit up to fuck with you.
I don't do it as much now.
But back then, and you were like, no, they're standing right over there. And I said, what? How come I didn't get the time?
You got all distraught.
I was all distraught.
But then when we got on the plane, because the plane's like whatever, 5 seats in the whole thing.
Yeah.
So he's up at the front with Lucy and Rob, and they're chatting with the stewardesses or flight attendants rather. And I don't know how this turned into like a thing, but like we were going to disguise ourselves as flight attendants so that we could keep chatting and talking. So we kept talking in the Homer Simpson female voice for the whole time. Like the whole time we were there.
Hello, Mr. Raimi.
Why don't you tell me? You did Spider-Man. Go on, please tell me more. But I was rather pleased with myself for not going like super geeky and just keep it like, because that was like an instance where you could just get all like, oh my god, I mean that part in Evil Dead where you did that thing that was awesome,
Yeah. But no, you showed restraint. And of course, when I came out, I was like, can we go talk to him again? You have that kind of like connection where you'd be like, oh, by the way, my friend Matt, blah blah blah.
Well,
So,
yeah,
but
I
no,
didn't want to press my luck.
no, you did fine. All right, so we skipped over the whole. I mean, you were talking through the whole Uncle Ben
Oh, Uncle Ben died.
and
He did.
the like he didn't stop the criminal thing, which is quintessential Spider-Man. This is it. This is what Spider-Man. This is why he does everything.
This guy, the
Sorry for
carjacker, his
talking
name
over
is
that part.
Michael Papajohn. No relation. Michael Papajohn.
It's I like his hair, and so he also has stolen the Death Coaster here, the Sam Raimi car. Yeah, I mean this is the thing too that I guess I can't keep ragging on the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, but he never caught the guy, right?
No, he didn't. That was like a plot thread that never got resolved.
Yeah.
Even in the second movie, he just sort of was like, oh well.
Yeah, like this is part of it because he has to catch the guy and realize it's the guy that he let go.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point to any of this. Well, not there's no point, but I mean, this is why Spider-Man is the guilt and everything is why he does this.
Yeah.
But I do like this chase. In the comic book, he just kind of like went in and punched him. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Glad that this is very cinematic, but it's much better than.
I seem to recall that shot being in the trailer and all the advertisements where he flips over and lands on the front of the car. I also recall in the theater the effects looking better than when I saw them on TV. I don't know if what the deal was, if I was maybe caught up in the moment, which I don't think it was. I think they just seemed to look better on the big screen than they did.
They were
because he always looked real
good,
rubbery. Though. They're all right.
Well, even the CGI, I think the CGI even looks like pretty good. Like
in some places it's fine. Why would you shoot at a shadow? Come on, only a dummy does that.
Yeah, he's a dummy.
The other thing in this movie that happens a lot is that like Spider-Man hangs down and then zooms back up, and I always was like, is he shooting a web and then sucking it back into his arm again?
I think it has sort of a bungee effect, right?
I don't know. He does it a few times. Like he does.
Does he suck it up into?
But
his
here's
butt?
my problem. Here's the problem with this scene though, because he kills this guy, and Spider-Man doesn't, like Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree with that either. I don't like that either.
And Sam should have known that.
Yeah, maybe there was some studio intervention, but it is, of course, the exact same guy, Papa John, that he let run behind. So there you go. So
he
you,
made a couple of appearances in the background in the Amazing Spider-Man Andrew Garfield thing.
Too. This guy did? Oh,
yeah, he's just like, hey, it's this guy.
So did he? I guess he didn't kill him, but he did allow him to die.
But the guy shouldn't. Like, he should have done something to save him, or something, like catch him,
right?
Grab him into the window frame or something.
He probably did.
For the police.
He did.
Yeah, he did. But like, didn't he come back in the comics, or they have
yeah. In issue 200, I think he came back.
Oh, look at that. Off the top of your head?
Yeah. But,
he's
don't check it.
He's the Joe Chill of Spider-Man.
He is. He's the Joe Chill of Spider-Man.
There you go.
Now we're getting into the beer number 2.
I thanks to the quarantine, I'm out of alcohol. I just finished the last bit I had, and it wasn't even anything good.
Liquor stores are open. They're essential.
I don't feel like going to the liquor store, and although I did find out that I'm not going to talk about this on the commentary when.
This is an emotional moment. You need some booze, sour, to salve your.
You could probably get booze delivered to you.
Yeah, I can. I just discovered that last week.
Yeah. So.
Legally, I just
what do they call it? Look at the salad on that guy's jacket.
Is that what they call it? Salad? When you have that many
I think they call it salad.
Medals and awards and stuff?
That's a lot. Like, I don't think someone really get that many.
Yeah, he's a
Storm Norman.
I don't know. Yeah, this guy's not even a real not even a real character. So this is like the fake. This is the other company that they were going to go with over Oscorp, right? Like
It's too bad they couldn't have said Stark Industries.
I know, because they didn't. They only owned the Spider-Man universe back then, I guess. Oh,
but
damn!
Also this is kind of like it's kind of like Iron Man 2 when they have the other company like making suits.
Hammer Industries,
yeah, Sam Rockwell.
With stupid Sam Rockwell acting like Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't want to get into that either. But here we go. There was a nice dissolve into the mortarboards flowing up.
Now imagine if you're at your graduation and your old man comes up and says this to you.
What does he say? I don't even remember.
He said you graduated. Essentially said you graduated. It's
and he's surprised.
It's not the first time I've been proven wrong or whatever. It's like what?
I know that is a dick move. And now he's more happy about. Yeah. And he's here. He is offering him a job and everything, and he's all like, "Hey, I could really." And he's like, "No, I can manage and whatever."
I do not like this doofy face that Tobey Maguire tends to. His resting doofy face.
So, I mean, can you blame Mary Jane there for not wanting to get married like the instant you graduate?
Look, I'm only 17 or whatever.
Jesus, yeah, Christ. I love the TV. Yeah, this is kind of a lot of space for queens, right? And they don't have any money. Uncle Ben didn't even have a job.
But they do kind of have a house, which I kind of even think of like in the Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson years. Like they lived in a house, and then the last two have been in apartments, kind of. Or I guess maybe the Andrew Garfield one was kind of like a condo. Maybe
I don't even remember where he lived in that. That's kind of a weird looking face he's making.
That is a resting doof face. Even though he's sad. He's crying though. I mean, that's good. It's tough for an actor, you gotta cry on cue. He's probably doing the Joey on Friends pulling leg hairs out of his tweezers. But yeah, this is my favorite Aunt May though, for sure. Like she is the best. She's not like old and frail like she is in the comics sometimes. Like she's portrayed as like her heart. Like it's always like there was that era there where it was like anything.
I gotta get Aunt May or heart medication.
Yeah.
It was always
it's even like the audio comic.
Yeah, with the Doc Ock. Yeah. She married Doc Ock, and he's like, "Oh, Aunt May's heart won't be able to take it." Yeah. He's got a weird penis sculpture back there, though. What's going on?
Yeah, it's a bomb.
It does look like a bomb.
Maybe it is. He's got a side selling some weed on the side, maybe.
Yeah, before
it's like legal. Grandma's Boy. Love that movie.
I don't know what wisdom she imparted there, but I'm sure it's really good.
You know what scene? Because the novelization came out before the movie, and I read it, written by Peter David, and the scene where the goblin comes, where he's like, "Finish it," which he's like doing the Lord's Prayer.
Oh,
she's like, "Evil." I remember reading that and going, "Wow, that's really intense." And then seeing it in the movie, I was like, "Wow, that is really goofy."
That's really corny. Yeah. Yeah, I remember definitely in 2002 thinking like, "Ooh, that was a little bit much." But I remember like this was one of the first movies maybe in a while where the audience clapped at the end, not ironically like we did at the end of The Arrival, but for real, like was so.
Lucy Lawless appears in this montage sequence too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna call that out.
But, by the way, I'd just like to say that Lucy Lawless in person more stunning than on.
I agree because I did see her. We were only a couple rows away, and I was like, "Oh man, yeah, she is beautiful." Yeah. She was on Parks and Rec a couple years ago, and she's still very. And she was on the Ash versus Evil. Yeah.
I think I can't hear the music, but I think this is my favorite part of the score. So I got to turn up here.
Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, it is. It's my there she is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, hold on a second.
But this is my favorite track on the soundtrack for
This guy playing.
Not this guy, but like the
Sweet Caroline.
But the whole like him doing the montage sequence where he puts together the costume and all that stuff.
So was that the shot where they had to take the towers out? We have to.
Yeah.
I suppose we have to talk about that, right? There's a lot of
the original trailer had him. Yeah. Can I just say I feel this was a casting missed opportunity by not having Robert Guillaume play Robbie. Like he was the perfect Joe Roberts.
It's right, he was. I mean, when I read the comic, I pictured Benson. Yeah. But the best casting, much so that they brought him back, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
Yes. But as we were saying, 9/11.
But yeah, so they had to do some editing, and they had to edit the poster, they had to edit the trailer, they had to edit everything. There's Ted Raimi.
Yes.
But I remember Bruce Campbell in his talk saying, "Leave the fucking Twin Towers in there." That's a direct quote.
Wow.
That was very controversial at the time. They had to refilm a bunch of movies around there, or just edit a bunch of movies. Because it was very raw, This was only like a year, not even a year.
What the hell was he watching on TV behind him?
I don't know.
Like birds covered in oil and stuff.
You guys, I have some breaking news. Robert Guillaume, who played Benson, passed away in October of 2017. News to me, anyway.
He could have done it.
It's not news to you because you were talking about it when it happened. I remember on Facebook.
Oh, R.I.P.
Yeah, you were like, I feel like watching Benson or something. I was like, that's kind of random. And then like the next day, I found out.
Rafiki and the Lion King, huh? Wow.
Oh man, it's great. I might watch some Benson after. I'm gonna leave right now and just go watch
Mr. DeBasey.
Dubois. And that was a spinoff of Soap, right?
Yeah. Benson was their like butler or something.
Their butler, yeah. So he really moved up in the world because then he's worked in the governor's house.
Yeah.
So here it's like, I don't know why she's so ashamed.
Yeah, just
like they want to talk about her flair. That pin says something funny, like "Ask me about my cream pie" or something. Like that. So we're talking about it on, or like, have a slice of my cream pie.
Oh, that's pretty funny. But I get it because MJ had high aspirations, and I guess it's just a good reason for Peter to go, no, man, like don't fret none, because
Yeah, but I bet she hangs out with the cool kids and like the rich kids, so she probably thinks people are gonna like judge her for like working at being a waitress. But what does he care?
Dance, diner, whatever. No, he doesn't care because he loves her for who she is.
Yeah, and he believes that she'll eventually make it.
Yeah,
and then they'll make it.
I can't believe she waitresses in those heels all day.
She's on break now. She's on break.
Yeah. And he's like,
doofy face.
That was nice. I do like MJ. Mm-hmm. Anyways.
I didn't know MJ stood for marijuana.
I like that kind of in the loft.
Yeah, they do all right. Well, I guess is Norman paying for all this? Look at that art on the wall too.
Art in quotes.
But it was like that classic, when in the comics when Peter and MJ were like living in a kind of a loft.
Yeah, and then Venom came in, and then they had to move because she's.
I remember Time Magazine doing an article about this movie when it came out, where it was called. It was like in like little type. It was something like Hollywood playing by, and then in big type, Spider-Man rules. Because one of my editors at the magazine I was working at the time cut that out and pasted it up in front of my desk for me because they.
Spider-Man rules. Spider-Man does rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the things they talked about was how this movie appealed to not just men but ladies too, because of the romance in it.
Well, that's what Spider-Man's always been about, appealing to everybody. The romance is good. It's because he's a regular dude, and that's why like people like Spider-Man and people like Superman, whatever. But Superman's not a regular dude, and even Batman's not because he's rich. You know what I mean? Like and stuff like that. So
I just like to see a newspaper that just had a headline with no story corresponding to it, like that one he was just looking at.
It's his reward.
Yeah, pictures of Spider-Man. See, like Spidey looks a little rubbery here.
Yeah, that was a weird little flip to do he just did right there.
Like that stuff. It just reminds me of Toy Story. But it's fine. I love Spider-Man. Although,
I've never looked at it that critically to be like, oh, it looks bad. I just I was so impressed when it came out. It's just so I just had that first impression of it. Like, oh, cool. Like, look what they did.
It's okay. But that's what we're here to do for you, Clay. Change your mind.
You're
not going to change my mind.
Clay, this movie's crap. Just like J. Jonah Jameson just said over and over. Crap.
This movie isn't crap. And you know
no, it's not.
Have they done anything in the comic where J. Jonah Jameson has run for president yet?
No, but he was mayor, right?
Mayor. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Now he has his own podcast, which is actually kind of funny. Like they've sort of updated. He works with a sort of BuzzFeed type of place, and he has his own podcast. But now he's trying to make Spider-Man look good. So
yeah, because
he knows he's Peter Parker. I mean that I don't like that. I still don't like that. She's like everyone in the fucking world knows who he is. Here's Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
With real Betty Brant hair. Like that is consistent with the comic.
Yeah.
Betty Brant hair.
And a very non-Elizabeth Banks looking hairdo. So I only realized that because they mentioned it in the commentary too. Although I've looked at her a million times.
I didn't recognize her at all. But I'm glad they gave her that weird hair. Which is kind of
back in the kind of thing. Back in that montage sequence with Lucy Lawless was Boston comedian Jim Norton.
Oh.
Yeah, with yelling from the van, the bald guy.
Very good. This is the scene from Austin Powers. I mean, it looks exactly like that. I don't know if that was intentional.
Or RoboCop.
Right.
When Ed 209 comes in and shoots that guy.
Although they're like up high.
That guy looks like Mr. Hornier too. He looks like Cesar Romero.
The guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
He plays the
I like
creep
that
in
he
every
continues
movie.
to drink his coffee while he's being like, yeah, you're fired. Get the fuck out of here. He's like, sip.
Sip. His
That's
teeth
what I
are a little
thought
yellow.
at the beginning of the podcast. There's supposed to sip soup on here.
You told me to, but I had a grilled cheese. All set.
Soup would have gone well with that.
I know, some tomato bisque. So, yeah, there he goes. Yeah, his hair looks unbelievably like unmovable. All right. Now I have powers, see?
Yeah, Jay.
See?
This looks a little weird. Like
those don't look like they're really there, do they?
And this, Macy Gray, I remember like rolling my eyes even when back then because already she had come and gone pretty much.
Yeah, she was
She had that one song.
Yeah. I watched this like a couple of times. And she says something about like a cartoon. And it's like kind of getting stuck in my head a little bit. Like a cartoon.
Crumbles when you are not there.
Like a cartoon.
I had that MJ action figure, I think, at one point in that dress.
Yeah, my wife has that dress that she wore on our wedding, on our honeymoon.
Oh.
And the woman, one of the waitresses serving us on our cruise was like, "Oh, I love you." She was like Russian, And we still make reference to it. She's like, "Oh, I love that dress," and Jim was like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Oh, I can't wear. It's too sexy." It's about the characters.
Did you hear this weird thing that Harry said? He's like, "Why didn't you wear the black dress?" You should have said that to her, to Jen.
That's what I should have said.
You know, my dad loves black dresses.
Yeah. And my dad's not even here.
Yeah, but like,
but it would have been weird if he was.
Spirit, yeah.
Although,
I know.
Although I do have a funny story that I'll share about that cruise. Not on this podcast though.
Oh, all right.
About someone being there that you're like, ugh, really? You had to spend the whole time trying to avoid someone.
So this guy, though, the bald guy in the wheelchair, he's been in all kinds of other stuff, right? I think he was even in the Marvel. I think he was in a Marvel movie, right? Was he in an MCU movie?
Oh.
Maybe he was. So here comes the actual Green Goblin with the glider. And look, Peter's reaction's pretty funny there. He's kind of like, what the? Because like we haven't really seen Spider-Man do a whole lot yet. So this is actually a pretty pivotal scene.
Yeah.
Look, that looks like Macy Gray in that balloon. Did you see that? There it is.
Goblin looks a little computery here. It's like they didn't finish rendering.
Yeah.
And like this part where they all turn into skeletons.
Yeah.
Stan Lee is at this part.
That's right. Doesn't he push someone out of the way? There he is.
Oh my God.
There you go.
He's like, would you like to buy these sunglasses? It's the same ones they wore in the X-Men movie. That was his part. That was going to be in here that got cut.
Oh, he actually had another line?
Yeah. He was going to talk to Peter about it.
Is this you bullshitting again?
No.
Here's the Superman, though.
Yeah.
The Superman run down the street, open the shirt. Oh, yeah, some of these glider shots.
There was a nod to the Batman movie in here, too. I forget where it was.
How come? Oh, that's not good either, that skeleton part. But how come he doesn't use that one all the time?
I don't know. Yeah, like he could kill everybody.
Yeah.
There you go. It's Spider-Man.
I love the red letter media thing where they were talking about one of the Spider-Man. I guess it must have been the last one, Spider-Man movie, and they were like, I kind of miss Sam Raimi and his overacting, like extras and stuff, you know.
On the commentary, Kirsten's like, why didn't his mom like get him out of there? Like, what a bad mom. She kept saying that, and the assistant director or whoever was like, oh yeah, well, you know, she couldn't get him out of there on time. She's like, well, she was a really bad mom.
But she was standing right there. Let's face it.
She is a bad mom.
Bad mama, Jama. Oh,
I got his own stunts.
Okay, they just hit Artie Lang.
Oh, that was that.
No, I am bullshitting on that.
Yeah, you are bullshitting. It seems like you should be able to shoot him.
Yeah. One of those pumpkin bombs.
That's right.
Did you guys
turns over into skeleton. Looks funny to me too. It's like, boy.
Did you guys see that as a meme going around? The Green Goblin shooting like Spider-Man with like different text.
No, I didn't see that. That was not a meme in 2002, was it?
No, it was a meme in like last couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting into the movie now.
Yeah. This is an intense action scene. It's great.
I feel like that wouldn't stop them, but
I mean, he could have still shot. Well, there we go. Now, yeah, you got him.
Yoink.
And that's kind of like a classic villain.
I'll get juiced.
I don't know how that glider should not have been able to fly away if he pulled out the guts, or maybe he just pulled out like the lights or like the horn or something.
He just pulled out the air conditioner. See, like that part, I felt like, I guess it is a bungee thing, but I always felt like it was sort of like going back inside him.
Ooh. Well, I mean, that seems kind of gross.
Yeah, well, the fact that it's going out of him is kind of gross too, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Here's the part where Kristen Dunst is holding on to a dummy coming up right here, you know?
Don't call him a dummy.
But he's not moving. It's a dummy.
I thought you meant Tobey Maguire was a dummy.
I like this shot. That's good.
That's good.
Hey, do you mind? I was in the middle of proposing. I felt that she would recognize his voice.
Well, that's yeah. I mean,
I wish Spider-Man's jawline moved when he spoke, though. It was always a little weird to me.
Bye. Later. Wee.
Yeah, that bitch wasn't wearing the black dress.
I laid it out for her.
What is that? Is that a Band-Aid on his hair?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird placement. Like I got a little bedhead. I gotta keep it down. I mean, James Franco, he tries so hard. He wrote like a book or something.
Wasn't he part of that Me Too thing when a bunch of people were accusing him of doing bad stuff?
I mean, everybody got accused.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I did, like, and then he got sort of like some critical acclaim. Oh, 3-button suit. It's a little 90s, Mr. Wayne. But he got some acclaim for doing The Disaster Artist, and I have to say, I didn't love The Disaster Artist. I was a little disappointed. Like,
no, the best part of that movie, the best parts were the parts that were the recreations of the movie.
Right. And like Seth Rogen with the funny, like, as like the cameraman kind of was pretty funny too. But like, I thought they made him too normal, like too much of a good person or something. You know what I mean? Like they made him too much of a human. He's a crazy motherfucker. Why don't you just go with that? You know what I mean?
And speaking of Seth Rogen, that year of that we were last at the Comic-Con in 2009, I believe was the year that the Seth Rogen Green Hornet came out, and that I remember they had the Black Beauty parked out in front of the convention center.
I've seen that at the convention.
Yeah, now like you always see cars and stuff at conventions, but back then it was kind of cool to see. I don't know.
Now the new thing is like it's a Chevy, Fusion hybrid, like 2-door, but it's like covered and wrapped in like a Wonder Woman design. It's like,
oh yeah,
a shitty like mid.
You know what I like?
Car.
The ape mask. That's the best one. The whole group.
I remember thinking like, I mean, it's kind of cheesy, but I still kind of like this part. I mean,
I have mixed feelings about it because I'm like, this is pretty dopey, but I think a different actor wouldn't make it work.
Right, it would have been way worse with almost anybody else.
Yeah, he really does have to do a Jekyll and Hyde thing. Like, he can either do it with the mirror or without. Which way is it going to go?
Reward for Spider-Man pictures. Oh, wrong.
I was looking at the wrong thing. Whoa, $3,000 to wrestle Bones on the ground.
1990 Camaro was $13,000.
Or maybe he's like, what are they listing my car for? I asked them to do it.
I remember the big thing in the comics was him buying that moped. That was like a big thing. Like getting the money to buy the moped. Was
and
like
fans were like, why is Peter driving around his moped without a helmet? So then he got a helmet.
Oh, there you go. I remember that. Now the mirror's talking to him and smiling.
I mean, if it wasn't Sam Raimi either, I mean, it wouldn't work. But I just think it's.
Right?
I think it just works.
Times Scare. That's a
Times Square slime. Slime Square. Slime Square. Right. That's my Ghostbusters 2 reference for my daily.
Get out of here.
So he doesn't work for the Daily Bugle.
No, he's freelancer.
Yeah,
like me.
Oh,
it's the best thing. Get paid in meats or whatever he says.
I like it. Was it Spider-Man 2 when the guy finds the suit in the like the garbage, and he's like, $50 and throwing a bar of soap. I always like that line.
But see, he's not a bad guy here because he's like, I don't know who takes the pictures.
Yeah, he could have thrown Peter under the bus.
Yeah. But see, you can kind of see.
Or under the glider. Under the glider.
Oh. The classic Jonah mouth webbing there.
Mom and Dad need to talk a while.
Look at the bottom of his feet. Kind of funny.
I thought no one looks. That's a bad shot too. I remember Kevin Smith talking about this scene when it came out.
This one with the
he just thought it was really dumb and stupid, and that's why this movie didn't work for him, and that's why Attack of the Clones was the better movie of the two. Which
that came out that year.
They came, and it's the first time that at least back then that a Star Wars movie wasn't the top grossing movie because Spider-Man was.
Nice.
Kevin Smith said that back in 2002.
Yeah.
Or recently.
No, back in 2002. Said
Wow.
This is dumb. For a guy that writes a bunch of dumb dialogue scenes.
Yeah, I mean,
a little critical.
Kevin Smith has no leg to stand on there.
Look at the pot calling the kettle fat.
I mean, it is kind of so. I don't even remember the nature of the scene. Is he trying to get them to? They're trying to team up. I mean, that's right. I mean, hey, if you were if there were literally only two super people on the planet.
But I feel that this would have worked better if he was like the goblin-y monster talking to him instead of a guy wearing a plasticky mask.
Talking to a guy wearing like a rubbery mask.
Yeah.
But plus, we had to first, Norman Osborn's, he's going a little nuts. He's also been ousted from his own company. He's had a run of bad luck.
Back to formula?
Exactly.
When he says back to formula, he actually means Formula One racing.
Yeah.
His previous career.
That's right. That's why he was looking in the paper, looking for cars.
What's going on his head? Like like a queen from Alien kind of thing? Does it go like way back?
Yeah. It's like, so it's aerodynamic head.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Why don't they just give him a purple hat?
I don't know. See, they could have done the purple hat and everyone would have been fine. I'm stalking you.
It's a good thing she wasn't carrying mace or something.
I'm sorry, Peter. Oh, how's it going? Let's go get some pie.
Let's try my cream pie.
But that's where he says, "Oh, your mom told my aunt." I don't even. Where is she?
Your mom that was yelling at you earlier. That mom.
Your mom that gets beat up by your dad? Yeah, she was talking. She told me all about it.
Should have said your aunt talked to my aunt.
I know. That was... Come on, with 50 people wrote this screenplay.
Yeah,
someone could have remembered that MJ didn't really have a mom in the comics. Like, well, I guess she did. What happened? Did they retcon that?
I don't remember.
What happened to her parents? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care.
She's got her own book now. I don't know if John
Mary Jane does?
Yeah, The Amazing Mary Jane. I mean, I don't read it.
Do you remember when Aunt May had her own comic book? No, seriously. You remember that? It was
remember.
It was that dumb like Young Aunt May thing written by Mark Millar.
Oh, that was a
Trouble. What was it called? Trouble or something?
Yeah, it was Trouble. It was Aunt May and Uncle Ben and Peter's parents, right? Like kind of all.
I don't know about this at all. News.
It was I think it was like a 4-issue thing. It wasn't like.
Yeah, no, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
But there was some kind of weird illusion that Aunt May was actually his mom or something, right? Wasn't there some kind of thing?
I don't remember.
Where
you know what? I'm not a big fan of his writing. So
it was dumb. I liked his Ultimates stuff, but that's about it.
I liked the Ultimates until I got that DVD of the Ultimates. And then when you heard the dialogue actually being spoken by actors, you're like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah, his dialogue was a little much. It is funny though to read that again and be like, wow, they really like the MCU really did rip off a lot of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
But they did go too far as like, let's just make it different, and they went like so different. Here's Spider-Man. Spider-Man,
guy.
I like how he does this little ballet dance to get out of there. Twirl, 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 twist, and come down.
So apparently this kiss was an issue for Tobey Maguire because water kept going up his nose.
Oh, that can be kind of
He was
gross.
very uncomfortable.
Because he thinks girls are icky. Is that why?
Yes.
I think that the harness was
That's why he was really asking
painful.
where his husband gave him. He's like, that outfit's cute. Your husband get it for you because I'd like to pick one up for myself.
And he said, "Why, yes, yes."
I thought his neck looked like weird right here. Like it looks like an old man neck.
Is he like clenching, like holding on, or what's going on here?
Maybe he has to poop, but he's like hanging upside down, so he doesn't know where it's gonna go.
He's been in this. He's been in this harness for like 3 hours.
He has a colonoscopy tomorrow, and he started his prep.
There's another classic. I mean, this is another sort of.
Yeah, this is the iconic scene in the movie, and that's what the ladies like. They like getting kissing a guy upside down.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was so iconic they repeated it in the other two movies. That's a super cheesy slow motion effect, but
yeah,
where she wants to kiss John Jameson upside down, and then he kisses Gwen Stacy upside down.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't remember that.
Yeah. But
they did it in Into the Spider-Verse too, and it was kind of funny. It's like they showed a clip where they're like, "Remember this?" It was kind of a fun little.
Macho Man was kissing his husband upside down.
They did some great. So, like, I guess a quick Into the Spider-Verse thing. So the Nick Miller Spider-Man, as he is known, if you were a fan of New Girl,
it's Peter B. Parker, I think.
That's this guy, right? That's Tobey Maguire, right? Or is that Chris Pine Spider-Man? No, I think that's him. Because he's still in love with Mary Jane.
Yeah, and he's would be our age.
Right. Yeah. So he's in his 40s. Yeah, so he's got kind of a pot belly.
Jake, like us though.
No, I mean after this quarantine, I'm going to definitely have a pot belly. But,
oh yeah,
that's all right. It's all the beer. Oh, God!
Where's your immaculate baby that I just pulled out of the fire?
Not a mark on him.
I swung over and got a fresh blanket.
Is this the Green Goblin dressed as a granny? You know, it's like.
Oh yeah! Oh man!
Or it's like so Little Red Riding Hood.
Hey, did you guys watch this movie before we were watching it now?
No.
This week.
It's been a while since I've seen this.
I wanted to do this fresh.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad I did a little pre-watch. I don't mind watching this movie again. It's very enjoyable.
I watched a bunch of stuff in preparation for it, but I didn't.
The only thing I saw was Todd McFarlane claiming, "Oh, the spaghetti webbing is what they call it. The spaghetti webbing is what they call it. I invented the spaghetti webbing is what they call it."
Great. That's the only thing he can take credit for. It's any good.
And selling 1 million comics.
Well, I mean, yeah, he did do that.
And not showing up for Boston Comic-Con.
Yeah, he didn't even show up. Fucking Boston Comic.
Gobby.
That was another thing I think that was in all the commercials and everything. It's a little jumpy thing there.
The Matrix thing?
Matrix.
Before or after the Matrix?
After.
This is after, yeah.
After the first one, but before the second.
Was Matrix 2001?
That's right there, that shot where it's like boom, boom, then zoom in onto his face.
Zoom in on his face.
Then show it close.
You put a lot of this kind of stuff in the Durst and the Firestarter fight scenes as well.
Yeah.
You were very heavily influenced by Sam Raimi.
Especially that part where we were fighting in the fiery building that was burning down.
This really
Very
was
safe.
not a reality when we
Yeah.
did Durst and the Firestarter. We
Yeah.
weren't in our like late 20s filming Durst and the Firestarter.
No, we were not.
But that would have been fun. If we were, we would have looked great.
Hey,
Look,
looks like
she's
MJ got
wearing
the
black
memo.
now.
She got the
Yeah.
memo.
Here I am.
He's like, who are you? And why aren't you wearing black?
I think I like Kirsten Dunst better with red hair, though. I think she looks good with it. She wears it
I
well.
think she looks
Yeah.
great in this movie.
Yeah, she looks great.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, she looks great.
I feel like if I was him and I was trying to come home for was this Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have swung into my room.
Right. Like, I mean, like, you
changed
know that people
someplace
are
on the
there.
street.
Yeah.
But also, where does he get the damn cranberry sauce?
Yeah, nothing's open on Thanksgiving. Yeah, maybe the corner store.
Maybe.
The old I loved this when I first saw it, and he was on the ceiling.
No,
I was
I
like,
hate this because again, this goes back to no one looks up. But like, if you walk into a room,
I think you know this
vision. You can see the ceiling.
I think you get it. I think you get away with it in the loft situation, but when Tom Holland does it with Aunt May, like, I don't think you get away with it, and he doesn't.
No, because she does
in the end
discover who he is. Oh, that's a lot of blood.
Yeah,
I know.
Consider it was just one drop. It looks like and you put like a stamp on it, like a wax stamp thing. Yeah. Like, hey, did Spider-Man just fly out here? I mean, I don't know why you would assume. I guess the window's the only place. But... No, so I guess he did change somewhere.
Toby had to.
He changed in his room and then left and then came back. But why?
I went to get the cranberry sauce, Aunt May.
Who likes cranberry sauce anyway?
I do.
It's a Thanksgiving tradition. I don't like it. I don't
either.
I like craisins. I'll eat craisins, but I don't like cranberry sauce.
Who the fuck would do that to?
Aunt May.
Just this guy just sticking his finger into
this
shit.
I thought you were slap it.
Into like it's like the sweet potatoes
right
with marshmallows. Like, that's a like grab a spoon at least. Like you're not gonna put your fingers in that. It's all mushy and sticky.
I mean, he's the bad guy. Bad guys take whatever they want.
So it's weird that they were having a fight on Thanksgiving morning, huh?
I guess so. Yeah, that's still bleedy, all bloody. Well, that's when the fire was happening. I guess he's like, I got these Thanksgiving dinner plans, but if I can kill Spider-Man first, that would really make my day.
I would really have reason to give thanks.
I'm going to skip the Macy's Day Parade, and I'm going to go...
Macy's Parade.
Like a cartoon.
Remember how that Nickelback song was everywhere too? We're going to hero. We're going. It's Nickelback.
Oh, that's right.
Is that the second movie?
I don't know if it was Nickelback.
No, it's this one. I think it's Nickelback.
I remember that song. I think I used it in one of our podcasts though.
But and me and Ray were kept like writing fake trailers for movies, and each one of them was like Sherlock Holmes 2000, where Sherlock Holmes wakes up in the year 2000 after being cryogenically frozen or something, and the Three Musketeers 2000. Everything was 2000. It was like old characters 2000. So like each thing had the setup, and then we would cut to this montage that would be the exact same thing. It was like the characters running, punching, jumping, but then it was going to cut to the hero to save us, not gonna stand in the way.
That one.
Yeah. And that was just like
imagine a Robin Hood in the 21st century.
Yeah,
boy, would that be ridiculous.
Oh God, yeah, that's dumb.
So he said something bad about MJ, and now she's storming out.
Yeah, called her a whore sometime
because he didn't.
She likes you just because of your wallet, son,
and your great hair.
And she's like, "Thanks for sticking up for me, doofus."
Did make me chuckle in the theater when I saw this. I was like, well, "That's kind of dumb."
Yeah, it's one thing to talk to yourself, but to put the mask on the chair, that's weird.
Should have put it
It's
on the
like
chair, put a little
Hamlet,
towel around
right?
it. Or if you had like a scarecrow or something.
Yeah,
you'd,
put like a little
just-
doll with the
Yeah.
mask. Yeah, that'd be good.
billion ways we could have gone with it. And then the other mask turn and start talking to them, the ones on the left there.
Yeah. It's like, hey, by the way, could you dust me once in a while?
They'll get jealous that they don't get worn. They're like, oh,
Yeah. Hey, next time you go as Green Goblin, put the ape mask on.
yeah, come on.
The ape goblin. Or the green ape. That's it. Sorry, green ape.
Green ape. Green apes in hand.
Oh
This part.
man,
This part was
Look
great.
at her
In the book, it was great. I was like, wow, that sounds intense. And then I saw this, I was like, what?
Oh,
There was also a reference in the book about some character was talking about alliteration and then was going to go see Reed Richards, Bruce Banner, and one other character that had, an alliterated.
Matt Murdock.
Yeah, probably.
Strange. Marvel is crazy with all that shit.
Yeah, it was
Ben
fun.
Grimm. Oh wait.
Paste Pop Pete.
Hey, he's in his will.
So he literally did just want to scare her. He didn't even kidnap her or anything.
Yeah.
He almost
And
gave her the heart attack that she had been threatening to have
No
in the comics
smoking
for
sign
40
in the
years.
hospital. No
The
smoking.
damage to the house too. Oh,
Oh yeah.
not only
No
is he
smoking.
not only is he hurting her mentally, but also financially.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get rid of that flowery wallpaper and get some real
Real wallpaper.
Maybe finish that green paint job they were doing downstairs.
Michelangelo.
It's nice that you brought the picture in though.
Yeah.
Nobody did that when I was in the hospital. I had to find out Macho Man died. It was a horrible.
I sent you an audio comic while you were in the hospital.
Oh, which one was it?
Metamorpho. The origin of Metamorpho. I did
The
that.
Element Man.
I did that to give you a good chuckle. It's really thin right here, huh?
Oh, she didn't eat that Thanksgiving dinner. She stormed out.
Yeah, that's true.
Sam
Phil
Raimi
had
said they
some-
had that they had that turkey on set for like 2 days and it started to stink really bad.
Why would you use real one? It looked real plasticky. It looked like it didn't have any.
It said it was real, and they had to shoot that scene for like 2 days straight, and they're like, ugh. They had to pretend it like looked good.
Oh my god.
Norman
it did,
sticking his fingers
but
in it.
wasn't. Oh,
It's like, let's make out here while Aunt May is lying near death.
Let's have this really private conversation.
Is this the
here.
part where he's like, because I don't have the sound up, where he's like, I was talking with Spider-Man. He was talking about you. Is that what happens here?
Yeah, well, she says, did he ask? Did he?
Yeah,
say
I
anything
remember.
about
Like,
me?
I guess the final act of the movie, I started to get a little more eye rolly with some of these parts. I fidgeted inside a little bit with like.
Yeah.
That was
I
like,
can see that.
Fidgeted
And this
inside.
scene goes on
Yeah.
way too long. This
I also
particular
had,
dialogue scene.
I also was eating popcorn in this movie and like bit down on one of those fucking unpopped kernels, and I thought I cracked my
Oh,
tooth
boy.
for like 3 days. My tooth was in pain. I didn't have any dental insurance at the time either.
Wow.
Turned
You
out it was
Thanks for
okay.
sharing. That was very brave of you to share.
It was a bad night. I lost my key. I
Believe me, I know.
popcorn.
Maybe you ate your key.
Yeah,
what
I
happened.
think I ate my. I know. I eventually found the key. So,
Oh, okay.
but like days later, after I got a new key for the place.
So you could, eat.
It was in the
Either way.
yard
Oh, okay.
from the yard.
I guess there's always something I found rather cheesy about, like, oh, Spider-Man's my friend. I don't know. I mean, I know it's like even in the comics and
I don't
everything,
like
it's
that
always,
either.
it's
I
kind of
always thought it
like,
was better if they didn't associate.
yeah. It's
yeah,
kind
like
of
how
like,
he's the one that's like, also like, even in recent years where like he's in Horizon Labs and he's making stuff for Spider-Man. Oh, I give him all his tech and stuff. Like,
You know, it's. I
Wait,
mean, like
right,
no
right.
one would do that. No one would figure out that they were the same person. It's like, well, so for years, Iron Man had this. Like Tony Stark had this bodyguard, Iron Man, and it turned out they were the same guy. I
Yeah.
wonder, like.
Yeah. Do you remember when J. Jonah Jameson had that Foswell guy following Peter Parker around way back when?
Yeah,
And he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and he figured out that he's like Parker's Spider-Man, and then Peter made like a webbed up like body double of himself and threw the Spider-Man costume on it, and then shot a web and just like flung the Spider-Man dummy.
so it's like this. Was it the same Spider-Man dummy as Mary Jane was holding on to earlier?
Yeah, it probably
no.
was. Yeah. I never liked that whole thing, that whole dynamic. Like, well, Spider-Man told me. Like, if you were like, it's like John saying he met Sam Raimi, and I'd be like, no, that's not true. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, Spider-Man was a celebrity kind of at this point, and he's just like, well, my friend Spider-Man.
Well, that's what I said to you. I was like, my friend Sam Raimi.
Yeah, like, oh, my friend Sam Raimi. We're switching seats with my friend Sam Raimi. Like, oh, all right.
This is some bullshit right here.
What is? I don't even remember what's going on in the scene.
Son. Yeah, son. Like, yeah, fuck that.
Well, this is because Harry has to kind of start to turn, right? I mean, like,
yeah,
to the dark side, because MJ has left
why
him.
The fuck didn't they just make James Franco Anakin Skywalker? Would have made so much more sense.
That's true. Then he would have been the two biggest movies of the year.
Their acting between them is on par with each other. They're both bad.
They wouldn't have lost a beat in the Star Wars prequels if they had cast James Franco instead of Hayden Christensen. And maybe we wouldn't have seen James Franco anymore, just like we never saw Hayden Christensen again.
Well, Hayden Christensen stopped acting on his own.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
He said, all right, I've done it. This is all I need.
He went and did a bunch of other stuff, like started a farm. Like, that part always scared me in the movie. Like, it always caught me off guard.
Yeah, it's a little strange. Like, you don't really know what is happening there, but it's Peter who fell asleep on her bed with like pages of the script. It probably looks like.
Oh, the Superman reference here. That was in all the commercials.
What did he say?
You're not Superman.
Oh, it's. Don't they make a Batman reference too in one of maybe in the second one? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm thinking of something.
I don't remember.
I might have heard a Batman thing, or there's some Batman thing in this movie that.
I think it's where he's like, "This is why Superman works alone."
Yeah, that was a great line. Huh? Clooney. Chicks dig the car.
Everything about that movie was terrible. We should do that as our next episode.
I don't think I can
enjoy the film.
I don't think I can watch it. Oh, that's right. I forgot we were going to call this "Try to Enjoy the Film."
Yeah, because when we were at the Batman and Robin screening, there was 5 of us in the theater, me, Dirksen, and Brom, and 2 other people that sat in the same row with us. Yeah. And we were ragging on the movie, and then the guy came over and yelled at us instead of trying to enjoy the film.
He said, "Keep it down and trying to enjoy the film."
And Dirksen's like, "Well, so am I, and it's really difficult.
It's not that easy."
I don't think anyone can enjoy this film."
So then, but we because we had to stop making fun of it after that, we went to see it again.
Yeah, we went to see it again, but when it was at like the second run theater.
Yeah.
You know, so we only had to pay $1, but it wasn't
you
the
guys are
same.
always having people shush you wherever you go.
I know,
we're not even doing anything that bad.
Yeah, that time maybe we deserved it, but like at the same time, why'd you sit in the same row as us?
You know, you had the whole theater literally. You could have sat
but at that concert, we were at a fucking concert. Why are they getting mad at us for talking? We weren't even terrible.
No, I'll never understand.
That guy was weird.
Yeah.
Dirksen was like when he turned around and said something to us, I didn't even realize he was talking to us. And you were like, "Did he just yell at us?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm not gonna pay attention to this jagoff."
I got mad. I got really mad.
Yeah,
I'm so mad.
You were getting real belligerent. And I was like, "Okay, calm down. I think
should've.
Yo was getting all like, let's get out of here before Dirksen starts a fight."
I thought you guys would back me up.
I would back you up, but I'm not going to encourage you.
But you're awesome, so
I was at the height of my awesome at that time too.
MJ's dressing like she's been in quarantine for 30 days.
Yeah, right. She's in her pajamas. She's
no real pants.
Oh, that's a little rough. The itsy bitsy spider. It's a little on the nose.
Yeah. That is.
This is what I'm talking about, where the movie kind of gets a little like, okay, we're a little, we kind of crossed over to a lot of hokiness into this. I could deal with a little hokey, but
yeah, they saved all the hokey for the end.
Yeah, sort of like how I feel about Spider-Man 2, where Mary Jane's running through the Central Park in her wedding dress. I'm like, what? Someone should have said no. Don't do that.
Like she could have ran anywhere.
That cable looked super computery. This whole part looks very.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna disagree with you there.
We're not tearing down the movie clip.
I won't. No, I don't disagree.
I can look past all this stuff though.
Yeah, it's still enjoyable.
It was very innovative at the time.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, which is why it's also like prequel-y stuff that like they developed new technology and shit like that.
Can I also? This was on on the ads too, right there.
Oh yeah,
right.
I'd like to add that Danny Elfman's score is great.
Because
I could not tell you what any of the music from the other Spider-Man movies outside of the original 3 sound like, because they're just generic superhero stuff.
Right.
No, Danny Elfman is always amazing. This is the kind of cool, like, who do you save? You know, and it's also this is the classic sort of like.
This is the
Gwen Stacy, right? Gwen Stacy died in the bridge, right?
Where like there's a lot of Gwen Stacy in this Mary Jane. She's half Gwen Stacy.
Screams a lot, and you know, and
everyone falls in slow motion. That's how he's able to save both.
That's right, because it's like, oh, they're not even going fast. I can just swing over there too. But, you know, I mean, it's cool. It's nice innovation. You know, hey, Spidey. Whee!
And then he
see, there it wasn't bunchy at all. There it was.
It wasn't. He could pull his arm right out of its socket. That's some hardcore webbing that he shot out of himself.
That is one thing about the Tom Holland. The Tom Holland that I like. He has different kinds of webs, and like he's like, oh, I activate explosive webs and stuff like having the webs do whatever.
I have mixed feelings about the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. There are things I like about them, but I don't like that he's just like Tony Stark Jr. and has all the technology stuff.
Yeah, I don't like that either. But did he make his own web shooters before that?
No,
he must have, right?
Tony Stark gave that. Yeah, before that he had made his own web shooters. Right. That is definitely something that I'm like, that's not really Spider-Man, like what Spider-Man's supposed to be all about. But I don't think.
Sorry.
No, that was cheesy.
Yeah. The smoke effects on the glider are very like Photoshop cloud effects.
Oh yeah.
Whoa. I mean, this chick.
You're slightly out of sync with me, but when you just said that, whoa, it was really funny.
Look, there was Avi Arad on the boat.
That was Avi Arad.
Looks like I don't know if it was really him or not, but it looked like him.
Oh, all right. I bet it was.
It looked like Avi
that must hurt.
George C. Scott mushed together.
Sliding down that cable like that.
George C. Scott. They had a baby.
Yeah.
And here's like the New York. We're gonna save you, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I also remember thinking that was pretty dopey, but
yeah, it's kind of cheesy.
That's the guy that's like on the wire. This guy.
Robert Wool?
No,
I mean, I guess I always like when nobody likes Spider-Man. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
Well, this is after 9/11, so they were all like,
I guess,
New Yorkers, we take
Yeah.
care of each other.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
This is our fucking city.
Little marathon
whoa,
Poppy
whoa,
reference
whoa.
there. Oh,
It's a good thing he didn't use the skeleton bomb on
right.
him. I feel this is where the movie goes into full Raimi mode, though.
Oh, that looked like one of the skeletons from Army of Darkness. Speaking of skeletons.
I do like this kind of Todd McFarlane influenced, like ripped.
Was Tom McFarlane the one that made the spaghetti webbing? Is that him?
Yeah,
Todd McFarlane?
that one.
Yeah, this is a very Sam Raimi fight scene.
Oh, 1986 was the promotional ad that the Spider-Man movie was coming out in the 80s. That just popped up on the factoid thing here.
Oh, wow.
So that must have been when I saw it at New England Comics.
And that guy go, hey, that guy. The little guy who worked there. For like ever. I don't know. Like there for a long time.
It was funny because Yo talked about going over to doing it. I don't know if I should be talking about this on this one, but just read the reviews about the Brockton New England Comics. They're real funny.
Oh, really? Like
what,
on
Yelp or something?
Because they talk about long hair in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Just Google reviews and you'll find it. It's real funny.
All
Someone called him Ronnie James Dio and stuff.
Oh.
I feel like if my mask was like that, I would just rip that part that's going across the bridge of my nose.
Yeah, that would drive me a little crazy. Be like, rip this off. I guess
it's like,
I don't need the mask.
Hey,
now.
Gobby, can you give me a second while I just take off my mask?
Hey, Gobby.
We called him Gobby earlier. I didn't make that up.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, but he's not done yet. Oh, the hand.
There you go. Monsters are good.
But I feel like they did some things that I never would have thought of, like where he's like he punches him and then webs him and pulls him back and punches him again, kind of stuff like in this fight scene. Cool. I thought that was all fun stuff.
So he doesn't. Of course, this is the big reveal because he doesn't know he's Norman Osborn. But now Norman Osborn can obviously see his face, but he knew he was Peter Parker anyway from the cut, right? But he didn't know that he was.
It's like you stuck your hand in the stuffing.
Yeah.
I wanted to eat that.
Wasn't that gross?
I know you went to the bathroom and didn't wash your hands.
It was the ape mask that made me do it.
I know. He kind of is like, it wasn't me. I'm totally Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Oh, or am I? Or am I just a dick?
I'm just trying to get you to ease up on me. But this is cool too, because this is how Green Goblin originally died in the comic book, although he's come back 150 times since then. But this was a big moment in the
spoilers.
Sorry.
Toilets.
Toilets.
It was a big moment to kill the Green, because of course it came right after he killed Gwen Stacy. But the Peter Tingle saved him.
Peter Tingle.
Oh, kind of a weird, kind of like hard target or something.
Yeah.
Like
whoops.
Whoops.
Oh, if that was a little lower, that would have hurt even more.
Right in the old Peter Tingle.
Yeah. Red in the old cream pie.
Oh, God. And the mask. The overlay of the mask. Where did MJ go? Like, what happened? Oh, who
She
cares?
was on the barge.
Oh yeah. Right. I feel like they had to have a moment there.
Harry's in his
Hey.
poet phase.
Yeah, with his black
He's
turtleneck.
like, Dad, I wore this black shirt. I wanted to show you. Oh wait.
Yeah. I even had the table gun ready, the desk gun.
Yeah, why was that sitting there? I mean, it's kind of a weird way.
Ape
Like,
Mask
oh,
put
my
it there.
villain is my arch nemesis has died. Let me just lay him on his couch.
Yeah, with a gaping wound in his stomach. He'll be.
Yeah, like, shouldn't you take him to the police or something, or the morgue? I don't know. I guess we needed that scene so Harry can know that Spider-Man was responsible, and now he can blame Spider-Man and blah blah blah.
But on the bright side, at least this happened over Thanksgiving, and they had the extra day off.
Yeah.
That's right. But it must be hard to arrange a funeral that weekend. This must be the weekend after.
So you know what? I have a sad story about that, but I don't feel like I should share it on the podcast because
Right.
I don't want to be a downer.
Well, we're almost done. We can share it after. Hey, man, I'm gonna kill that Spider-Man. Okay.
That's cool.
That's
Did
good.
your husband?
Are you sure?
Did your husband tell you to do that?
I've been talking to him. And
Yeah, that's right.
My friend Spider-Man.
He says he doesn't think
Pete
you should
Spider-Man.
kill him.
Yeah, sorry. He feels bad.
He told me to tell you he feels bad.
He told me to tell you that your dad told him not to tell you.
Is it kind of uncouth to go to another grave when you're at one person's funeral?
No, it's not, because you might as
people
well.
do that
You're
all
there
the
already.
time.
All right, yeah,
Do that
there.
that's what you do.
There was nobody at
You'll
Norman's
visit them
funeral
all.
anyway, which is kind of
No,
funny.
they all left at that point.
Oh, okay.
Norman's would have had a big funeral because all his like powerful friends. Well, no, because
They
he killed.
all.
Never
yeah,
mind.
killed them.
He was at their
They
funeral.
abandoned him when he had to go back to Formula.
That's right.
Formula One racing.
He sent them back to Formula
409.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Formula. So this is like the big. She doesn't love Spider-Man. She loves Peter Parker.
Great. She loves Pete.
Yeah.
She at first was into Spider-Man because he's like edgy and mysterious.
Kiss
Then she
people upside
realized,
down.
and then she realized she needed stable and none of that stuff. And then it turns out Peter's really edgy and mysterious.
Right. But he can't tell the tragedy of Spider-Man until MJ found out who he was that he couldn't reveal to anyone who he was because it would endanger them, as she was just in danger from the Green Goblin after someone found out who he was. So it is actually really good storytelling. And I'm not saying that like actually, but I'm just saying, it's
this movie.
It's well constructed.
Checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah,
definitely. It's a good movie. This romance is cool.
Yeah,
I like them. They're cute. But then he's like, yeah, I'm gonna that is the classic superhero thing too, though. It's like everybody I know is gonna be in danger. Just like Daredevil too.
Right. Well, it happened because Karen Page was killed because people found out who he was. And then Daredevil had like 150 girlfriends after that who all knew who he was. But yeah, like this is classic Spider-Man. Like he can't get the girl, Even though I love Peter and MJ being married, I always thought those were fun years.
I did like them as a married couple.
Yeah, and you can't do this forever. But young Spider-Man can't get the girl. You know what I mean? Like this is like the tragedy of his life. And he could just say, "No, I am Spider-Man. You love him and you love me."
Here's the thing I remember at the time that a bunch of ladies were happy to hear that in the comic that Peter and MJ got married eventually.
Oh,
right.
Like boyfriends, husbands were like, they get married in the comic, and then all the ladies were like, "That's so sweet. I love it.
Giant size annual." And then the boyfriends are like, "Yeah, I have that giant size annual, and there's villains and heroes on the cover. You want to see it?" They're like, "No, I don't want to see that."
Hold on, I get videotape of them getting married at Shea Stadium with Stan Lee.
Well, that's the cue the Danny Elfman score here, but like, yeah, he leaves her there. Oh, it's so sad. But that was a funny thing in
the
that
end of the
Green
Incredible
Lantern.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
That was like this funny thing about that Green Lantern audio comedy, though. It's like he wanted to impress Carol Ferris as Hal Jordan and all that. Like, it wasn't like this. It was like the opposite of this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like a tragic story. It was like, I want to impress her as not as the Green Lantern.
That story didn't even make any sense.
So stupid.
But this was a classic. This whole fallen Spidey swinging through the city.
Yeah, and no,
On the
there's a nice
flagpole.
little flagpole thing.
Yeah, and
because,
after 9/11,
right,
everybody, big old American flag.
And according to this little pop-up thing, Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst have signed on for 2 more Spider-Man movies. So
that's good to know.
forward to those.
Except, I don't think they were as good.
What I was gonna say was that this really was a self-contained great number one. You know, like it was just, it was awesome. Like, you don't need more than this. This tells the whole story. They could have wrapped.
Then they went and fucked it up. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people like Spider-Man 2.
Well, Spider-Man 2 is great.
I like Spider-Man 2. Yes.
I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time.
They lay a little heavy on like the downbeatness of the movie.
Yeah, maybe if I watch it again, I don't know.
Spider-Man 3. I've tried. Also, about that Sam Raimi story, my friend Tom was like, "Did you ask him why Spider-Man 3 sucked?" I was like, "Yeah, that's what I did."
Yeah, I'm gonna point out a flaw.
Well, he didn't want to do. I think Sam Raimi was a fan of one villain because he was supposed to have Doc Ock in this one, and he said, "No, we only want. It's enough to have Green Goblin, Spider-Man, the father-son sort of thing going on. We don't need to tell another origin
the
story."
Goblin onto it. So, like, when you get rid of this Goblin, it doesn't solve the Goblin problem because you've just got a James Franco Goblin now.
How green is my Goblin?
Right, but like Kevin Feige, production executive for Marvel. How about that? Look at that.
Uncle, my enemy.
But here's your song, by the way, John.
Oh, cool! I get the sound down so I can hear it.
Yeah.
I can't hear it either. What's the song? Nickelback?
I don't know who it is. A hero to save. There it is.
Is it the Foo Fighters?
No,
it's not the Foo Fighters. It's Nickelback.
So, but yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. I'm watching the credits here.
You watch those credits.
I
I am.
You're waiting for the after credits spot.
Ahead by accident. Yeah, we don't need to. I guess we don't need to watch the movie anymore. But I don't know. I mean, I should give Spider-Man 2 another viewing.
Right,
at the time, I was
let's do a quarantine cast on that.
Episode 500.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I didn't love it at the time. I saw it a couple times in the theater. I saw it once in IMAX, which was like a cool thing back then. And
Roger Ebert had it as one of his best films of 2000.
I know. Maybe it's still good. And I know Clay probably loves the train fight.
Oh, I know you hate that train thing.
I didn't like the train thing. I thought that was really cheesy. And how they're all like, yeah, go get him, Spidey, or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Kind of like how I thought it was cheesy in this one. I didn't like it in the other one.
Well,
Doc Ock is really cool.
You know what? He's a well fleshed out character.
That's true. Yeah.
Like the Spider-Man movies are able to, in a short period of time, make you understand all about like what a character is all about, and it makes you either like them or hate them. You know, it pulls you in the right direction in a short amount of time.
I will agree with you. You can even say that about Sandman, who I thought was cool in Spider-Man 3. Like,
I think, if they had just had Sandman, and no
how Venom, it was like he was getting revenge for his daughter and all that. Like, that was like just like this one, and just like with Doc Ock, it was like a nice little story. And I thought he was.
I
Cool.
yeah, I agree. If
I
they hadn't,
think the thing with Spider-Man 3 is it has some good scenes in an otherwise awful movie.
yeah,
Like
Yeah,
there are parts in it that I'm like,
agreed.
that's really cool, but overall, it's just
I kind of like how much of a loser he is, but he's like on his own. Like I like that he's like, barely pays his rent and shit like that.
yeah, that's Spider-Man. I mean, that was a Spider-Man that I was like coming into in the '80s. Like
Hero performed by
The
doesn't
the
even
name
say.
of this Macy Gray song is My Nutmeg Fantasy. What?
I wonder why she didn't stay around in the
yeah,
public.
no wonder it did become more popular. So this is something though, yeah, like when you I think because like Venom ruined Spider-Man 3. They didn't need Venom, and
feel
the studio
ruined Spider-Man in general.
yeah,
I don't like the character of Venom at all. I never have.
but like
I've never trusted Klingons, and I never will.
I never will. But like, you know what I mean? Like when it was the same thing like with these last couple X-Men movies, I think they had like when you gotta do a storyline, it's like, oh well, we gotta do Dark Phoenix or we gotta do Apocalypse. That just
Right, that's what they did with all those X-Men movies, right? Yeah.
yeah,
That's exactly what they did.
it just ruins everything. And they did
Uh,
Days of Future Past, but it was completely different. Like it was
But then they tried to like be like way cheap out on it and be like, okay, well, what are the other hot selling X-Men
Right.
stories? And then they did Dark Phoenix and Apocalypse and like
yeah.
even I was way out of comics I wasn't way out of it, but because like my friend was still reading like X-Men Apocalypse, like
Your friend
late
Spider-Man?
90s. My friend Spider-Man. But I mean Apocalypse was cool, but I was kind of like not really that into the X-Men that was happening.
Yeah, no, I never cared that much about Apocalypse, but like, you know what I mean? Like whenever they're like, well, we got to do Venom. It's like, no, I mean, just have a good story instead of like trying to like adapt this thing like into your like shoehorn it into your movie.
Maybe we should put the character of Shoehorn in.
Use
Him
it.
and the Goblin Ape or whatever it was. The Green Ape. The Green Ape.
And Pastebot Pete, they can form an evil syndicate. The Sinister Syndicate.
Yeah.
Isn't that great when villains like call themselves villains? Like, we're the Sinister Syndicate or the Sinister Six or whatever. Like, yes, we're evil. Finish it. Finish it. He was just getting back at her for that slap. I mean, that was...
Well, you know what? Don't stick your fingers in the food. Just don't.
No,
not in these days. Maybe if you have some gloves on.
I guess back in 2002, it was acceptable to just jam your hand into the food.
That's meant for everyone else.
Yeah.
You can't even sit that close to people and eat now.
This DVD menu is just looping at the like half of his like swing through the city, and then it just goes back, and it would like really grates on your nerves if you leave the sound on.
I remember doing that sometimes, like when those DVD menus would like, have like a scene and would talk, but like I was like making food and like I just put the DVD in and so like as I'm in the kitchen I hear like the voice and I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
But I don't want to run out there. I got to finish making the food. It'll burn.
It's just a Macy Gray song. My nutmeg fantasy. My nutmeg fantasy. It's like a cartoon.
Oh boy.
All right.
So,
do we have any final thoughts here? Springer's final thoughts?
I think Raimi did what he set out to do. Made a decent Spider-Man movie and then followed it up with a better one. Oh. He understood the character, and because I do feel that this represents the Spider-Man of the 60s, 70s, and early 80s.
Right.
I feel that he got all the characterizations right. I think there's a lot of hokiness that Raimi puts in his movies that you get a little like, oof. But overall, enjoyable. Not the greatest movie ever, but, I still saw it like 5 times in the theater when it came out. And I was surprised at that how rewatchable it is.
That's a good way to describe it. I agree with it. It's very rewatchable. And I can't say that about a lot of movies. But like this one, I don't have any problem. No, yeah, a couple of some of the effects.
Yeah, the effects have dated.
You're like, well, all right, but like, overall as a movie, like I can't really complain too much about it. There's a couple of hokey scenes, like you said, some, James Franco's acting, all that stuff. But I mean, they got the characters down. It was a fun story. Origin stories can be tough, and this one nailed it. I mean, yeah.
I gotta say that I agree with you guys. Rewatchable is definitely applicable because I watched it a couple times before I watched it with you, and I enjoyed it the whole time. And
I enjoyed it even more because I was watching it with you twos.
Oh, thanks.
Isn't that
for
sweet?
real? I'm not even doing the bullshitting thing. Like that was.
I agree. It does. If I sat here by myself, and it wouldn't have. I mean, technically, I am by myself, but I mean, if we watched it, and now not, and when we just talked about it later, like, oh, we all just watched Spider-Man, and now we're going to talk about it. It wouldn't have been as fun. I would have been like, all right. But no, it's
notes or whatever.
No, but it's fun, to experience it with other people, and it's a fun comic book movie, and it was definitely opened the door for.
So the next one we'll do will be the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah, we could do that.
I'll do that.
And like I was gonna say, I said it earlier, but I just wanted to reiterate, like the Spider-Man and Superman and Batman are like classic movies to me. There'll never be like, I can't even really put them in my top 10 movies of comic book movies of all time, but they might be, any one of them is probably in the top 5, but like it's just as great. It leads the door to Marvel, and I can watch this movie many, many times.
Very good. Yeah, I think there's definitely, there you have it. There's our take on it. Some historical significance here, though, not to be.
Yeah, that's why I suggested it. I sent Durson the text the other day saying, "What do you think about this?"
I mean, 2002. I mean, it's crazy. That was 18 years ago. There was never in our wildest imaginations where we think that there would be a Marvel Cinematic Universe. We were happy to have a movie with one character, like one of our characters.
I'm going to say I sort of missed the days, though, where it was like this, where everything wasn't all interconnected and there weren't 50,000 characters running around. I kind of liked the simplicity of just being able to focus on one character.
We had like X-Men, we had Spider-Man, we had like,
and they all occupied different universes,
Right.
And I thought, I sort of liked that. But
I didn't mind. I didn't.
No going back.
I was just psyched to see Spider-Man. Like, it always would be. Even if for some weird reason now, like, if it wasn't Tom Holland or if they recast Spider-Man and they made a new Spider-Man movie, I'm going to go watch it. Like, it doesn't really matter. I just love Spider-Man that much.
Well, I think, I agree. But this one definitely, without this one, who knows where we would have gone as far as superhero movies or just whatever. But
and a good standalone. It doesn't need the sequels.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. In fact, I'm going to pretend that they didn't even have it.
You should rewatch too, though. I think you might like it. Maybe
I'll rewatch
one of these. For that.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that. We'll do a watch along or watch-a-thon or whatever I called it.
Yeah.
I actually did this.
We'll do a Facebook Live of it.
Oh,
I did a chat. I did a chat thing along with Harold and Kumar yesterday with a couple of friends, like with the Netflix party thing in Chrome, and that was pretty fun too.
Oh, all right.
Stuff together is pretty fun.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. We're so stuck inside, it's good to associate with people.
It's good. Yeah, it's good to watch movies where people are actually outside.
That's right.
We're watching Better Call Saul the other day, and Mike was at the bar. I was like, "Remember those days?" And she was like, "What?" I was like, "The days where you could leave the house,
Yeah. Go to a bar.
Yeah. Those are good days.
Yeah, I know. Jeez, I miss going to bars, just grabbing a drink with someone.
Hey, this is the next best thing. So I'm gonna stop recording my stuff now.
All right. Well, thanks.
Okay. Well,
thanks for listening, everybody.
Say goodbye. Don't stop it yet. Let Jerson say goodbye.
And we'll, but we're signing off. We'll see you chumps